Morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. We're excited to take you through the power of Pinnacle Series. My name is Rose Otto. I'm a partner manager working very close with the Vincero A2K team, and my colleague Jill is also on the webinar today. I will turn it over to her for introductions in just a moment. To take you through the agenda today, we'll start off by telling you a little bit more about the company behind Pinnacle Series. We'll dive into why the solution exists and some of the challenges that it solves. We'll do a live demonstration. We'll review your subscription options, and we'll do a Q&A as well. At any point in time, if you have any questions, feel free to chat them in because we'll be monitoring the chat and answering questions as we go. If you do want them answered live, or you do have some questions at the end, please chat them in. At this point, I will tell you a little bit more about the company behind the Pinnacle Series. So Jill, if you want to jump into the next slide. Thank you. So Eaglepoint Software has been in business since 1983. We are a company of architects, engineers, construction managers, customer success managers, and developers. And the reason I point that out is because the solution is being kept up to date content-wise, as well as feature and platform-wise by our own staff. And we work very closely with the A2K team on the solution and the content as well, making sure that we, first of all, keep everything updated and according to every new version, but also making sure that we provide the latest and greatest and any software that you're using today. The Pinnacle Series is the solution we'll be focusing on today. It was created in 2006 after we realized that all the companies we had been working with in the past we developed Autodesk add-ons and then sold those to Autodesk. We realized that all of the companies we had been working with were experiencing the same challenges. I'll have Jill talk about that in just a moment here. If you are not familiar with KnowledgeSmart is a leading AEC assessment tool in the industry. We acquired them in 2021. We have a very close integration with that solution, which allows us to automatically create personalized learning paths based on those assessments. Today, we have over 300,000 users in the platform worldwide. We are one of the founding members of the Autodesk Developer Network, and we're also an authorized publisher with Autodesk as well. And then we have a long-standing relationship with A2K. All right, at this point in time, I'll turn it over to Jill to introduce herself and then to talk about the challenges that Pinnacle Series solves.
Yes, thank you and welcome. As Rose said, my name is Jill Malloy. I'm a customer success manager with Eaglepoint Software. So I have the opportunity to work with organizations within the AEC and manufacturing space to ensure successful implementation and help them all to leverage the right tools within the platform to provide ongoing value and return throughout the life of their subscription. So I'd like to go ahead and get started by first talking a bit about why Pinnacle Series exists and how it has evolved into the platform that you'll see here shortly. So Pinnacle Series really caters to the AEC industry and directly addresses three core challenges around technology that AEC organizations commonly face. So they are continuous learning, knowledge sharing, and increasing productivity. I'd like to just go ahead, go ahead and unpack these individually a little bit because they are really the foundation behind Pinnacle Series. So the first is with continuous learning, and this is really everything from onboarding of new hires to technology training to really zoning in and targeted specific skills gaps. So if you think about how difficult it is for any organization to really stay up on and train and ensure all staff continue to hone their skills and keep up to date with the latest technology, it really is quite challenging to manage. And Pinnacle Series provides a solution that's customizable to your organization's learning and training needs, and it brings the learning and training materials and tools together under one cohesive platform. The next is capturing and sharing of knowledge. And this includes things like best practices and company procedures and standards, established workflows and templates and things like that. Pinnacle Series brings information and knowledge together where it can be shared and leveraged appropriately over the entire organization. And then users can access at any time from anywhere they are. And then finally, the third common challenge is with increasing productivity. And this is schedules, on-time project completion, quality standards, meeting or beating budgets, and then the many moving parts within the industry that are really reliant on the productivity of employees. So stopping project work to have to research information or search for answers, or employees seeking out that internal expert on a specific topic, sifting through piles of notes to effectively do a job really does slow the productivity. So ultimately, this is why Pinnacle Series was created and exists today. Employees can jump into Pinnacle Series and they can run a quick search for information or whatever it is that they need, and they can get right back to their project work, which really then increases productivity. So these are really the foundational reasons why Pinnacle Series was created, and what you're going to see here momentarily. I will go ahead and jump into the platform now. So what you're seeing here is the home screen of Pinnacle Series platform. Note that the platform is completely customizable. So you can add your organization's branding and logo, your color theme, and some images. Everything is widget based, so you can also personalize the platform. You can change the layout, you can move around the different elements. So this really becomes your organization's internal trusted solution. Also, with the platform being 100% customizable, where you can add your own assets and content that's related to your organization standards and best practices, it's important also to point out that Pinnacle Series is a browser-based system. So this allows for unlimited storage in the cloud, and it also means that everyone has access to Pinnacle Series anywhere on any device that has internet access available. So this is really useful in the remote office environments today, as well as for organizations that have multiple office locations. So if we just do a quick glance here at the home page, a couple of main areas that I want to focus on are the search area here and the My Courses area here. The average person coming into Pinnacle Series will be looking for information, looking for answers or solutions to get help with something, or maybe to learn a new skill or hone skills. So typically one of these two areas will be the reason why users come into Pinnacle Series. On the left-hand side here are called the asset libraries. The asset libraries are basically an area that organizes all the content. So at the top here is organization's custom library. So organizations can add any content to the platform. They can create a central repository of information for users. And again, organizations have unlimited cloud storage for this. And then below here is what is called the public content or the out-of-the-box content. And this really comes pre-built with subscription to Pinnacle Series. So it includes everything from A2K subscription, where they actually have their own subscription available in the asset library, things like Adobe, Autodesk, of course, Autodesk Construction Cloud. We have some Bentley content, some health and safety. There really is quite a lot of data and assets here that are available to you. Autodesk is going to be the most robust and largest library in there. And then if we go ahead and do a little bit deeper dive into the content here, we go into Autodesk and dive into Revit, for example. You'll notice that there are 4 different asset types for training, learning, and content. And these are learning paths, workflows, documents, and videos. And I will, all this content is pre-packaged with your Pinnacle Series subscription or with the organization's subscription. And I'll touch on these individually in more details. We review the platform as well. So e-learning today has really become fairly standardized, where a user is guided through a course with resources and videos and text materials. But this is an area where Pinnacle Series really stands out in several areas. So the first is the idea of customization. So if we take a look at this course, for example, this might be an area important for your staff, or the course may have most or all of the content needed for training your employees. But let's say, for example, a project team needs a process document or a video or content specific to your organization's way of teaching staff. And this can be accomplished fairly easily by utilizing the management utility tool and managing content. So you can quickly remove a document or a video, and you can add your own content and really make this your organization's way of learning. The second area where Pinnacle Series really stands out with learning is the tracking feature with learning as well. So again, with the management utility tool, you can come in here and you can click on a learning report, for example. My internet is not cooperating, so bear with me just a minute. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. So there are learning reports here that are available. And as staff utilize Pinnacle Series and start to spend time learning, this activity is getting tracked and detailed. Reports can be pulled to view progress. So things like the percentage of completed the percentage of a completed course, the time it took for that person to complete that course, and then how well or not so well the user did on the quiz as well. I apologize, my internet is not cooperating, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump back to. Okay. So then the third key Pinnacle Series learning element is the capability to provide personalized and targeted learning with Knowledge Smart. So Knowledge Smart is Eaglepoint's global leader in platform AEC skills assessments. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my demonstration tenant because I do have some Knowledge Smart content available in here. You'll notice here also that, because it is 100% customizable, my Pinnacle Series page is a bit branded differently. So where Knowledge Smart becomes really powerful for organizations is by giving the organization the ability to assign their staff and even an interviewee an assessment of their skills. So Knowledge Smart assessments identify skills that are done well, and that saves time to focus on other areas of development. And it also identifies skills gaps within a customized learning path. So at any given time, an organization might have staff that ranges from new hires that are right out of college with basic Revit skills to those more seasoned employees. And we hear a lot from managers that they're really tasked with the development and improvement of skills for their team. But how does this get accomplished, and what does that look like without first identifying the skills for the individuals on that team? And one way to do that is to identify base level skills for employees through Pinnacle Series and Knowledge Smart. So managers can assign an assessment to determine base level skills and develop training from there as well. So just to give you an example, I took an assessment on this Revit content creation. And based on my assessment results, I had a customized learning path that was generated for me based on the results of that assessment. That's this path right here. And if I open this up, these are the areas that I need to focus on. So this is a customized learning path that was developed just for me based on the results of that assessment. If I toggle to show all topics within the course, each skill area provides a little assessment trophy icon that signifies learning assets that I don't need to further review or train on. So these are areas that an individual skill level is adequate. And then these are the areas where further development or improvement is needed. So you can see where that would be a time saver. And then the fourth training concept where Pinnacle Series stands out is the ability to integrate e-learning with live events. So today, more and more organizations are incorporating methods of e-learning and training, and the Pinnacle Series platform allows you to manage and track and schedule and report live learning and training sessions. So Eaglepoint really does believe that there is great value in a blended learning approach. So combining those quality e-learning, like the learning paths we just saw and courses, and together with a live instructor-led training and learning, like the live events. And again, I can use the management utility tool to really track that information, to see who has attended, to see who has registered as well. And those live event details can be tracked and managed in the platform. So we've seen and talked about how Pinnacle Series is a valuable platform in providing training in different ways managers and administrators can really track and assess. I'd like to shift the focus a little bit now and talk about how and what employees, will do after that onboarding and training. And that circles us back to how Pinnacle Series becomes the solution to increasing productivity. So if you consider for a moment that an employee in your organization is plugging away and working on a project and they get stuck and they're not really sure what to do, maybe she is, coming up on a deadline and needs some answers. Instead of interrupting that go-to person or colleague or spending time Googling and hoping to find just the right information, that employee can now have Pinnacle Series at their fingertips and can run a quick search to find answers and solutions that they might be looking for. So we are all familiar with how a search engine works pretty much, but in Pinnacle Series, the yielded results from the search within Pinnacle will include all the content, all the materials and assets directly related to the search topic. So any BIM manual, any CAD manual, internal public videos or custom videos all become searchable and available to staff. And it's a central, consistent and relevant repository of information and answers for staff. And this really increases productivity as well. So I just ran a quick search on stairs. That was my search topic. And this will result in all of the related public content and all of the related content that is customized by the organization. So that is also imported into Pinnacle. On the left hand of the screen here are filter options that if you want to narrow your search results to find exactly what is needed, you can come in and consume the content and jump back out to project work. I will just kind of say that you could also filter by product as well as version year to further filter through search topics. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a document quickly. And again, documents might be things like cheat sheets or frequently asked questions or best practices. So if I can come in here and I can take a look at the documents. Most documents have some visuals as well as some text. And maybe if that's not exactly what I'm looking for, there are also additional resources on the right-hand side, specifically related topics. And there are thousands of these documents available with the out-of-the-box content in Pinnacle Series. But remember, you can also customize the material to really make it your own or create content from scratch as well. One of the other 4 asset types is the learning paths, which we already touched on. So I'm going to go ahead and select video to filter by and show you what a video looks like. Specifically with videos, you'll notice that there are some unique features that I will highlight here. So if you run down the list here, you'll notice that most of the videos in Pinnacle are under 5 minutes in length. This makes them really relevant and easy and quick to, quick way to learn a new concept or brush up on a skill, saving time for the employees, and they can quickly access and get back to project work. And then secondly, if you jump into a video here, just to give you an idea, all of our videos are transcribed, and this allows the viewer to follow along or jump to a specific place in the video if they're looking for a specific topic, for example. And if English is not the user's first language or preferred language, the transcription can also be translated into over 65 different languages. Thirdly, with the videos, we have thousands of the videos in Revit, Adobe, AutoCAD, Bluebeam at your fingertips. And then, of course, finally, you or your organization's content can upload their own custom videos, and these can also be easily auto-transcribed as well. And then the last asset here that I want to highlight is a workflow. Give my internet a moment here. There we go. So workflows really walk a user through a process from start to finish. So this allows for standardization and consistency of work across locations and offices and teams. And unlike learning paths where a user will come in and complete the learning path and move on, workflows are really meant to be referred to over and over again. And these are basically step-by-step processes that will be referred to and followed while working on a project. So this consistency means that the things are being done right, and they're being done right the first time, and again, contributing greatly to increasing productivity. Just to kind of give you a high-level overview of a workflow, on the left here is a table of contents or an outline. The diagram in the middle here just represents a flow chart that illustrates the path in which the project is to be carried out. And then as you go through and view each of these steps, over on the right, you'll notice that there's individual tasks and text instructions. This is one of hundreds of workflows that are already built and available in Pinnacle Series. And again, the platform is customizable, so you can create and build your own workflows as well. And then also within the workflow in Pinnacle Series, there are some really cool features that I would like to highlight. So there are additional links to videos inside of a workflow, or maybe documents or other reference material that is helpful while you're working on a project and working through this. So this is a video, for example, that is referenced within the text instructions. And then there are what we call tool command links. So here, this is instructing me to actually run a command inside of Revit. And when I click on that, it will bring Revit up and actually run the command for me. There we go. Run the command for me inside of Revit. And this works inside of any AutoCAD-based products, and it's a really useful tool. While I'm here, I will also touch on the related learning topics plugin. So maybe employees might be working in Revit outside of Pinnacle Series. Maybe they haven't logged into Pinnacle Series yet. One way to still leverage the platform outside of the browser, which again saves time and keeps employees productive, is with the related learning topics plugin. The really nice thing about this is that while an employee is working inside of Revit and they're running commands, contextual learning topics are generated, and as you know, they change as you run different commands. So I can, come into here and you'll see that these learning topics will change. And this all content that directly relates back to Pinnacle Series, either custom content from the organization or public content that is tagged to the commands inside of Revit. So you can see where this is really helpful tool to users as they are working in the actual software themselves. And again, those are active and operate inside of all AutoCAD product. All of our assets, the workflows, the documents, the videos are shareable. So if your employees are working around and they find a helpful video or a workflow, it can be shared in a couple of different ways. So utilizing this share icon here, you can copy a link, you can share via email, you can share via notification within the platform as well. Also worth noting is the usage reports with Pinnacle Series. So Pinnacle Series tracks general usage of the platform. Again, utilizing the management utility tool here, there are usage reports that track things like frequency of content that's being accessed, when people are logging in, who has logged in, top searches. And with this, you can really filter across locations or teams and see what's commonly being searched, what content and what topics, and identify problem areas or even target some training materials based on the search trends. And then finally, just to note that we can also sync with your Active Directory. So you have the ability to sync with the Active Directory. There's no need to manually add people or remove people that have left the company. And then this can sync at a cadence that is, customizable to whatever makes sense for the organization. We also have single sign-on available, so users don't have to remember one additional password, and it is more secure as well. So that really wraps up the demonstration and the overview of Pinnacle Series. I'm going to go ahead at this time and turn things back over to Rose for a moment.
Thanks so much, Jill, and really nicely done. Excited to see some questions come through. We'd like to answer anything that you're curious about, and if we need to dive deeper into anything, let us know. But to quickly cover the basics of a Pinnacle Series subscription, you can purchase access for all of your users or a few users. It's an annual or a 3-year subscription, so it's not just a one-time of learning. It's really a tool that can help you as you're working on your projects, and help you train on everything you need to train on. You can quickly customize your own asset library. So A2K actually has an exclusive library of content as well. You can turn off anything that's irrelevant. You can hide anything you don't want others to see. You can also, as Jill mentioned, create your own content and put that in the solution. You'll have unlimited cloud storage for that as well. So it's a great way to capture those best practices and put them in the solution. We actually have over 90 languages available today, so you can consume the content in your own native language. Great reporting, like Jill mentioned, it's very, for managers especially helpful to understand what users are searching for to get a good idea of some of the skills gaps within your organization. That you can also customize our content. So Jill talked about workflows and working in Revit as an example, to quickly get assistance or help or get your question answered as you're working through your project and clicking on commands within the software, you can customize all of that training, those workflows and those learning paths to your organization and to your way of doing things, because we understand that every organization is different, and it's important that we train people not only on the software that they're using, but also on your way of doing things. We covered Active Directory and Open API, and there's a lot more to discover about the Pinnacle Series solution. But I think the best way to do that for you would be to go through it yourself. So Jill, if you want to jump to the next slide here. Thank you. We're very excited to offer all of you on the call today a free trial of the Pinnacle Series. You can claim that trial by reaching out to your sales representative at HK or by emailing the organization as well. So excited to offer you access for a limited time. And then I think it's time now to jump into any questions. So chat them in if you have them. There's a Q&A and there's a chat functionality in this as well. Looking in here quick, there's some questions that were dropped in here in a private chat. So let me take a look at those quick. So one of them being, how secure is your content? And that's a really, really good question, especially when we're talking about putting your own practices in the solution. You obviously don't want others to see that. So the Pinnacle Series, you get your own tenant that's not accessible by anybody else, and except for your organization. So you can safely store that content in there, and you get, like we mentioned, unlimited cloud storage, and everything is backed by Microsoft Azure as well. So to answer your question, it's very very secure and very safe. And then I see a question here, Josu, how much is the subscription? So that really depends on your organization. So Josu will have somebody from A2K reach out to you to give you a quote on a Pinnacle Series subscription. And then let's see here. Another question is, how do I get access? Again, you can reach out to sales, your sales representative or the organization. We'll put the contact information in the next slide as well. So that's how you'll access the solution. It's really easy once you've requested it to get access, especially for this trial today. And then another question is, how up to date is your content? That's a really good question too. So we constantly update our content to make sure that it's up to date according to the latest versions. As soon as we have a new version come out, let's say AutoCAD 2023, we update that. The goal is to update that within a month's time. And then once you subscribe to Pinnacle Series 2, you'll automatically get access to new version years, new content. We always add content throughout the year. So even if it's not on just the Autodesk software, we're also adding things like Bluebeam, for example, or Ideate software. We're constantly adding to that. So that's a really good question. Let's see, I think that's the questions for now, but if there are more questions, feel free to chat them in while we wrap things up. And as I mentioned too, the A2K team will follow up and answer those sales related questions too.